Since we are halfway through the Season 4 of Delta Force, I decided it was the perfect time to do a tier list on all the operators in the game. To make this tier list less biased, I decided to also consult a pro player who has a vast knowledge on all operators, because unlike some of us, this guy has actually tried out all the operators and knows much better than the average Delta Force player. Alright, let's start off with the very loved Assault class. Here we talk about the most common operator amongst Delta Force beginners, D-Wolf. D-Wolf's abilities are very easy to learn, hence why he's the recommended operator for beginners. A combination of his speed boost and grenade launcher makes him one of the most aggressive operators to use to push and dominate enemies in both warfare and operations mode. Also, his passive being sliding has already cemented his place in the S tier of our Delta Force tier list. For number 2, we talk about the movement god, Vyron. When it comes to movement, no operator comes close to Vyron with his overpowered dynamic propulsion, also known as jetpack or boost. The fact you boost to any direction you want makes him both viable in offensive and defensive scenarios. His magnetic bomb is also lethal, as it can stick to enemies and especially enemy vehicles. With all these overpowered abilities, he still have a passive to not take any damage when falling from height, which undoubtedly makes him take his place alongside D-Wolf in the S tier of our tier list. For number 3, we talk about our aura farmer, Knox. Knox might be somewhat overpowered in operations solely because of his silent assault, which makes him totally quiet when running, but in warfare, that very ability is pretty useless, because unlike in operations, enemy footsteps doesn't really matter in warfare at all. His other abilities isn't anything to write home about either, because his disc is very hard to aim at enemies, and his other ability being the flash also flashes him, which takes him into the C tier of our Delta Force tier list. Now let's head over to our beloved medic class. When you talk about medic, you can't help but think about our beloved Stinger. All his abilities have one purpose, which is healing his teammates or Stinger himself. His Hive Tech pistol heals both himself and his teammates, which is absolutely incredible. He can also heal a group of people by throwing down his smoke and spraying his heal pistol on it to heal any teammate inside the smoke. With Stinger being the best medic in the game, there is no way he won't be in the S tier of our Delta Force tier list. Now on to our next medic, Toxic. Toxic abilities are a little complicated to learn, hence why you don't see people using her in warfare mode. Her ultimate, which fires multiple drones to deal damage on you over time, is pretty much avoidable, and at most times serves as a means to slow down enemies pushing an objective than any other thing. Her other ability, which boosts her and the teammates close to her, provides an improved handling and reduced hit flinch. But out of all her abilities, it's her smoke that really stands out, as it blinds the opponent. But the area at which it covers is rather small, which takes Toxic to the B tier of our Delta Force tier list. Now let's move on to our Engineer class. The Engineer class in Delta Force is typically just about defense, and I can't think of a better defense in Delta Force than Uluru. With his quick-set cover, which creates cover anywhere, and his fire grenade, it's safe to say Uluru is the clear embodiment of a defensive operator, which lands him on our A tier. Another defensive operator we should talk about next is Shephard. He might not look overpowered in the hands of an average player, but in the hands of a pro, this operator can be quite annoying to go up against. His abilities was created just to slow you down, which is somewhat the worst thing in FPS gaming. His abilities are both viable in both warfare and operations, which also lands him on the A tier alongside Uluru. The next operator we are going to talk about is considered the most hated operator in Delta Force, and he is no one other than the mighty Cinea. Cinea reigns terror in the warfare mode using only his ultimate. One can easily rack up 20 elimination in a span of 5 minutes just by using his shield. If you are accurate enough with his grapple gun, you will become a bigger threat in the battlefield. But in operation, his ultimate is now tied to his stamina, meaning you can't just use him carelessly. You will also need a well-coordinated teammates to make him a threat in operations mode, unless you be easy prey in operations mode. Given his shortcomings in operations mode, Cinea is still an S-tier operator given his sheer strength in warfare mode. Now let's head over to the Recon class. The Recon's class main objective is to provide information regarding the enemy's key locations, and our girl Luna does it flawlessly. With her Recon bow, she can precisely expose enemy locations with ease, giving her teammates the upper hand. Her other ability, which fires electric bolts, can effectively prevent enemies from pushing from a certain tight angle. With her being so critical for the team, Luna is officially in the S tier of our Delta Force tier list. Now lastly, we talk about Hackclaw. Hackclaw predominantly shines in the operations mode with her ultimate that can scan nearby enemies and also display their armor type. This feature alone can help your team decide whether to push a team or not. Her drone also temporarily disrupts the enemy's vision, which makes her very powerful. But she doesn't do much for the team as a recon class because her teammates don't really benefit from her scan at all. With this very drawdown, Hackclaw will now be placed in A tier because as a recon operator, she doesn't really benefit the team in warfare mode. If not, she would easily be in S tier. Now, if you notice, you will realize the lowest tier given to an operator is C tier, meaning majority of operators in Delta Force are very balanced. Now like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers.